The Food and Drugs Authority says it has not released any list of registered or unregistered drugs. The Deputy Chief Executive John Odame Dakwa, in a statement, said the authority has no knowledge of the published list. My name is Brighton and thanks so much for staying there for today's big story. Now, a list of allegedly published on some websites indicate the Food and Drugs Authority has released a list of 1,887 registered pharmaceutical products as some against scores of unregistered fake drugs at the end of September 2030. Now, the publication indicates that the said list was posted on the FDA website, and it shows that many pharmaceutical products on the Ghanaian market were not listed, that is registered, in the current list of the authority. The list includes medicines from about 8 pharmaceutical companies. The current list of FDA-registered drugs is captured under 8 specific categorizations: the product name, generic name, the strength, dosage, the form, applicant, manufacturer, local agent, and expiry date of the product. But the Food and Drugs Authority says it has not released any such list except a list of registered products it has posted on its website, and is therefore asking the public to disregard the said publication. And that is the list that is out there. We'll be getting to the Food and Drugs Authority, and Collison Kofi is a regulatory officer with the Food and Drugs Authority. We'll be finding out from him if indeed the Food and Drugs Authority posted that. But let me first of all speak to Professor Goski Alabi. He's the President, Consumer Advocacy Center. Now, Prof. Alabi, thanks so much for your time.
Yes, it's always a pleasure.
Now, first of all, the Food and Drugs Authority seem to be toying with the lives of the public. Now, a list has appeared on some media website that suggests that these are registered products and those not registered. The authority said, I have not released any such thing. Is this a danger to public health?
Well, I presume that the issue of drug safety is a very critical one for us in the country. For some time now, we have been battling with this issue of fake drugs or fake pharmaceuticals coming into the country. And that means that we need to question the kind of systems that we have at the national level for the protection of the consumer. First of all, if we look at the systems that are available right now, the Food and Drug Board is the sole agency in Ghana mandated with the responsibility to ensure the safety of consumers as far as drugs, food, cosmetics, medical devices, and cosmetics are concerned.
Right.
But what do we see? When it comes to pharmaceuticals, you realize that in the chain of regulation, we have on one side the Food and Drug Board that is responsible for regulating drugs or pharmaceutical products on the market. And we have, on the other hand, the Pharmacy Council and the Pharmaceutical Society that are supposed to be responsible for the regulation of the pharmacy practice. So to start with, we have some kind of division of labor over there.
All right.
What the Food and Drug Board has not been able to do adequately from a consumer perspective is the fact that we don't have an efficient alert system in the country. That is one. And also the market surveillance aspect of monitoring pharmaceuticals is very weak.
Right.
I think a lot of emphasis is placed on drug pharmacovigilance, which is very very much different from the function of market surveillance.
Right. But Professor Alabi, kindly hold the line for me. Let me go to town once again. Let me speak to Nana Yakwada. He is the Executive Director of the Bureau for Public Safety via Skype. And Nana, thanks so much for your time. Now, first of all, the incidence of fake drugs. We have a list today that is allegedly published by the Food and Drugs Authority of both registered and then unregistered medicines on the market. Now, the Food and Drugs Authority comes out and says, I have not released any such list. This is indeed dangerous to public health.
Well, let me say good evening to your cherished viewers. Basically, I think that the Food and Drugs Board do have a website, and so all concerned persons can direct track to the website and confirm whether indeed they have released such a report or not. That said, it's important that the Food and Drugs Authority, being that critical institution, is mindful of how it communicates information to the consuming public and the citizenry.
Right.
It's very, very important.
Now, so if such a list is out, and then the Food and Drugs Authority said, I have not released any such list, how is the public endangered by this? Because the public will not be able to differentiate what information is coming from the Food and Drugs Authority.
Yeah, that's precisely the point I did make earlier, that it is important that the Food and Drugs Board manage such information very, very critically. I think that having come out to say that they have not released such a report, the next thing that they want to apply themselves to is to engage the police agency to begin some serious investigations to unearth where this information, purported information that they claim they did not issue out, is coming from. It's very important because for a critical institution like the FDA, it is not very good in their interest regarding the role that they play in our socio-development agenda for such, double mouth communication to be coming from their outfit, or a communication that comes on their outfit with their name on it when they do not have any idea about that.
Now, hold the line. Let me go back to Professor Gospi Alabi there. Now, Professor Alabi, you were making a point that the Food and Drugs Authority is the one responsible for ensuring the safety of the public. But from where you sit, do you see this as being done, especially from what we are hearing and seeing in the past few days about pharmaceutical drugs on the market being substandard and not registered?
Well, I mean, this challenge has been with us for a very long time. This is not the first, and I believe that it is time for us to take a very critical look at the systems we have for ensuring the safety of consumers in Ghana, particularly when it comes to pharmaceuticals. As I was saying before, the Food and Drug Authority, by law, has the mandate to register and publish the list of all registered pharmaceuticals, not only pharmaceutical products, but also food, drugs, cosmetics, and medical devices.
Right.
But they have not been very much up to the task, if I should be permitted to put it that way. Why? It's because they have institutional challenges. I do not know the total number of people we have as regulatory officers for drugs in the country right now, but I'm aware that they do have a number of regional offices. How many officers do we have in those regions? And to what extent can they and do they go around all of the pharmaceutical shops to check whether the products that we are registered are those that are on the shelf? What about the ones that are sold in wheelbarrows? What about the ones that are sold in vehicles?
Right.
What about the ones that are peddled in every nook and cranny of the country? So you realize that it is not enough to say that we are relying on only the few regulatory officers that we have at the Food and Drug Board to do the market surveillance for us. Whereas they would be checking what is registered against what is not registered. We find all manner of medications coming through the borders. Some come through unapproved routes. And when these things have gotten into the country and they are being distributed and they are being sold, it's a completely different ballgame.
Right.
When it comes to the pharmacy practice, you realize that it is the Pharmacy Council and the Pharmaceutical Society that now have the responsibility to go around the pharmaceutical and chemical shops to find out whether they are complying with the rules and regulations.
Right.
But quality and safety is the sole mandate of the Food and Drug Board.
Right.
So how do we pull all these together to ensure that we are safe? It means that we need, as consumers, we are also a part of the process of ensuring safety. And we can only play our part if we have information. But where we do not have the information, because we do not have a robust alert system in the country, then we have a challenge.
Right.
Another aspect of drug safety has to do with pharmacovigilance or adverse, how we identify adverse effects of medications that are brought in and how we control that.
Right. Let me go to Nanaya once again. Now, Nanaya, the suggestion here is that the consumer is very important when it comes to ensuring the safety of the medicines that we buy on the market. Now, how do we as consumers ensure that we're not being poisoned?
Well, I must say that to answer this question, it's very important to know that apart from a consumer using a drug or a prescription, if all things are well, diagnosis, prescription, and everything is intact, and the consumer decides to purchase a drug, I think that the role of the consumer is that limited,
right,
in the sense that currently, if I am a consumer, all I check and be sure for myself as an expiry date. The fake drugs or the counterfeit drugs on the market are so sophisticatedly presented that it is not easy, if not impossible, for a layperson to know. If trained eyes will find it very difficult to determine or to differentiate a fake from an original, if permit me to use that word, original drug. So majority of the work comes to rest on the FDA, and that the role of the FDA is non-negotiable in this matter.
Right.
So I'm sorry to say that as consumers, currently within our setup, national setup in the pharmaceuticals, there is very little that consumer can do. And that majority of the work rests on the FDA.
Right. Nanaya, hold the line for me. Let me introduce Mr. Collison Kofi. He's a regulatory officer with the Food and Drugs Authority. Mr. Kofi, thanks for your time. I have on the phone lines Professor Goski Alabi, is executive of the Consumer Advocacy Center, and Nanaya Akwada. He's also the executive director of the Bureau of Public Safety. We are discussing precisely safety of medicines. Now, a list appeared on some media site that was purported to have come from the Food and Drugs Authority about registered and unregistered medicines. Now, your authority is saying that it has no knowledge of any such list. Can you confirm or deny this?
Yes, my brother, it is true. First of all, let me just thank you very much for this opportunity that you offered to us to clear some of these issues. We know that when it comes to pharmaceutical crime, people can go to whatever length they want to go to discredit the regulatory authority based on their own selfish interest, because research shows that pharmaceutical crime is very lucrative. And then we want to assure the public that we've never published any list. That list circulating in the media houses is not coming from the FDA. We know the perpetrators, and then very soon we'll let the public know of that. And we want to assure the importers whose names have been mentioned there, which has to do with their products that are unregistered, as is being purported, that they should go to the full length, they should apply the law, they can sue the media houses for them to substantiate where they are getting the source of the story from. Because I can tell you for a fact that the Food and Drugs Authority have never, and I repeat, have never issued any list of such nature. Some people just want to blackmail the Food and Drugs Authority. If you remember, we know what is happening, and the fact that I work with the enforcement department, I'm telling you on authority, we know what is going on, that we have some Ghanaians, individuals, just because of their selfish interest and the fact that...
Mr. Kofi, you're reading criminality in the whole thing.
Yes, I'm telling you, that's exactly what is happening in the criminal act, and we will make sure that the law has to work. The FDA is mandated by law to protect public health and safety. And we know what is going on. People are making attempts to discredit what the Food and Drugs Authority is doing. And we know that our activities that we are going now is trying to expose people who want to bring in substandard fake medicines, spurious medicines onto the Ghanaian market just to sell to ordinary Ghanaians. And when people realize that they cannot buy their way, they cannot buy officers of the Food and Drugs Authority, these are the kind of games that they want to play. So we are entreating the importers whose names have been put there with products that they know legitimately is registered and people are making those claims, to sue those individuals involved. And very soon we will mention the names those who are behind this activity.
So on your website, you have another list there. What is the list on your website?
Yes, the list that you have there, what the FDA does is the list of registered products, the FDA puts it out there, and all the time it is what? It is upgraded. As and when products comes in, we upgrade the list. So what happens was that you could see certain individuals just sat down, take the list of products that the FDA has put there, and then pick some products from giant pharmaceutical importers, and then try to just play those games that these products are not registered because they couldn't find the list there. And we are saying that it is not the FDA who put those lists there. It is certain individuals who are fighting for others. They just want to use the media to blackmail the activities of the Food and Drugs Authority. So, and this is not going to distract us. We will continue to ensure public health and safety.
How quickly have you gotten to these importers and manufacturers whose names have appeared?
My brother, manufacturers have started calling. Some of them, I can tell you, somebody called that is being threatened by manufacturers to sue them. And when we asked him, the manufacturers want to sue him. When we asked him about the source of the story he put out there, he couldn't explain. He was saying that he received the story yesterday. And we all know that yesterday was a public holiday. And as we speak, the Chief Executive Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority, who people are claiming signed that letter, is out of the country since yesterday. So who signed that letter? Certain individuals are trying to discredit what the FDA is doing. And this is not going to distract us. We will continue to expose individuals. Come again?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so what we are saying is that we will continue to protect the public.
Okay.
And those individuals
Mr.
who think that our activities is a threat to them,
right,
must rise up.
Right.
To expose them.
Right. Mr. Collison, don't go off the line yet. Professor Gospel-Alabi wanted to make an interjection there. Prof, go ahead. You were trying to come in.
Thank you very much. How can the FDA assure consumers of the reliability and the integrity of the information they put out there? That is one. Are they trying to suggest that their own information systems have been compromised? And if they have, then we have a big issue at hand.
Right.
Secondly, we would want to know how, aside from the website, they reach out to consumers to let them know which medications have been registered and which products have not been registered.
Right. Mr. Kofi, you heard Professor Alabi there asking that, for instance, there's a suggestion.
Let me just explain something to you.
Go ahead.
If you look at the press releases that the FDA has been issuing, it comes from the head of communication. Most at times, that is it. And if you look at this story which is up there, even the head of communication knew nothing about it. So in the first place, who sent that information there? And if Madam is saying that, does it mean our information system has been tampered with? We live in Ghana. We know what people can do with the internet. We know. We live in Ghana. If the Food and Drugs Authority, the chief executive officer even signed letters, press releases to some of these media houses, and his signature is there. We know individuals can scan these letters and then put up whatever information they want to do there. We are expecting the journalists who put the story there, at least to have even cross-checked with Food and Drugs Authority before putting out that story there.
Right.
You can't just pick any information and then you put it out there and you think that is it. But we are saying that we know the individuals who are doing this. We are sure, Prof, that very soon we will mention the names of those individuals.
Nanea, let me bring in Nanea. Prof, I'll bring you in very soon. But Nanea, are you satisfied that, for instance, Mr. Collison is suggesting that the way information is sent out by the Food and Drugs Authority has been compromised as the executive director of the Bureau of Public Policy Safety? Are you satisfied with this?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For a critical institution like the it is important that they manage their communication processes very well. It is important that their communication processes are tight. It is important that they kind of make public, at least with the media, the stakeholders, who are the biggest stakeholders in terms of information dissemination, are aware of their protocols of disseminating information. I think this is most unfortunate, and the FDA in the coming days must do so much to purge itself of this.
Professor Alabi, Mr. Collison is suggesting that they are aware of some persons who are engaging in acts that he thinks are criminal, and that might have happened. You're still not satisfied?
Yes, absolutely, because then it means that the security of the information and the reliability of the information that they can provide us or we can get from their website cannot be relied upon. And that is a big issue. My last question probably to him is, what measures are they taking to ensure that consumers can be assured of subsequent information that can be found on their website?
We'll quickly have to deal with that. But Mr. Collison, if you're there, the issue now is, from now, how do we ensure that whatever we're getting as information from the Food and Drugs Authority is from the authority and can be relied on?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think anytime the Food and Drugs Authority issue a press releases and then the media calls to confirm, we've never denied any story of such nature. So it tells you, and I just want you to appreciate one thing. You remember when the incident happens, that of Tobinco, there were speculations from people who were doing PR work for Tobinco that you have other importers who have products that are unregistered, and what is the FDA doing about it? I just want to take your mind on something. That is exactly what is happening. So we assure the public that we are mandated by law to ensure public health and safety. And any statement that we release to the Ghanaian public, and we are called upon, we've actually answered to the fact that yes, this is coming from the Food and Drugs Authority, and we've never denied the story. So why this? I am telling you on authority that we know where this is coming from, and at the right time, the Food and Drugs Authority will expose those individuals who, based on because of selfish interest, they want to discredit the regulatory authority.
And when you say the right time, are you talking about tomorrow, next week, next month, next year?
I can assure you that by Friday we will do that. Individuals will come out to actually apologize for what they are doing. And when it is time for us to mention names, we will give their names to the security agencies to investigate those people and then brought them to book that, look, the life of a Ghanaian is paramount to any individual, any businessman who wants to make profit at the detriment of ordinary Ghanaians.
Thank you so much, Mr. Collison Kofi, Regulatory Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority. Let me wrap up with, first of all, Nanaya Akwada. Now, Nanaya, you heard the Food and Drugs Authority saying that by Friday, they're likely to release the names of people they suspect might have posted that information on website to deceive the public. Now, from your point, is it satisfactory enough? Is it assuring that the public, the health of the public is being catered for?
Well, let me quickly say that as a public official, it is important that he sounds very, very assuring. To the extent that he's giving us between now and Friday, for me, is quite assuring. But the things that we as a people must look out for is that any drug that we find on the market, we are looking out at efficacy, that the drug does exactly what it is claiming to do. That in terms of quality, that all ingredients that went into the drug are of the highest quality standards. And last is safety, not in any order of importance. Safety, that the drug that we are taking is not going to poison our system and kill us. It is important that whilst the Food and Drugs Board is applying itself in this manner steadily, according to my appreciation, that they maintain a very current register of pharmaceuticals. I see their website is great. They maintain a current register of pharmaceutical and pharmaceutical products so that individuals who are in doubt of drugs they find on the market can quickly make reference to these register of pharmaceuticals, and if it is not there, they can alert the Food and Drugs Board, because like Professor said on the other side, the job is huge, and public safety is not a thing for one regulatory authority. It is a shared responsibility. And before the public can partake in this responsibility, we will need to rely on information coming from the FDA itself. And so it's important that moving forward beyond today, that they maintain an up-to-date, probably up to the second, register of pharmaceuticals on their website so that we can give them feedback. And then maybe a third point is that they should consider using this system that is available in other countries, like in Nigeria, where when you purchase a drug, you can quickly scratch and send a code to a system and then get feedback immediately whether it is fake or not. And last but not least, between now and Friday, the FDA must purge itself. They must trace the source of the first press release that came out. And then, if possible, let the law take its full course.
Thanks so much. Nanaya Akwada is the Executive Director at the Bureau for Public Safety. Let me wrap up with Professor Gospi Alabi. Now, Professor Alabi, the Food and Drugs Authority is assuring that by Friday it will name those it is alleging involved in publishing the so-called list of fake and not fake medicines in order to shame them. Is assuring enough?
Well, I believe that yes, we'll be looking forward very much to that information, but that is only an ad hoc measure. It is only a reactionary approach. To say that today this happens and we provide a solution to it, and tomorrow it happens again and we find another solution is too ad hoc for us in Ghana and as consumers. As far as our health and safety is concerned, we want a more reliable system. We want a more strategic approach to handling the issue at stake. What we want to see is for the FDB to come up with a formalized alert system, a mechanism that would be well communicated to all the key stakeholders, so that when issues like that arise, it is not just reacting to the situation, but that there are laid down structures and procedures to ensure that in the first place the issues can be adequately addressed or dealt with. So we are calling on them that yes, they can use this reactionary approach for this one, but we hope to see in the next few months a communication from them that will tell Ghanaians about the, alert mechanisms that they have put in place to assure safety of Ghanaian consumers.
Thank you so much. Professor Goski Alabi is the president of the Consumer Advocacy Center. I also spoke to Nanaya Akwada. He is the executive director of the Bureau for Public Safety. Samuel Collison, Kofi, Food and Drugs Authority, senior regulatory officer, joined us. And of course, we'll get you more on this very particular issue later on. But I don't go away yet. The second segment of today's big story is just about to take off. That is the interactive segment where we get to you to talk to us about what you see around you. Marianne is joining me very soon. Thanks so much for the first part. I'm coming back in a moment. Well, thanks so much for staying there. This is the second part of today's big story, and we're talking more about getting interactive with you. Marianne has just joined me. Thanks so much. You are here today.
I am.
I was expecting you.
Because you've seen me here this morning.
I was expecting you, of course, for today's show.
Yes.
What is trending today?
Today we just decided not to talk so much about what is trending, but to go into our agenda setting role and also replicate what is happening on today's big story. Food and the drugs that we take, very, very important to us because a lot of people, I am sure, especially the quack drug sellers on the street will sell you drugs and
toxic
toxic ones that could kill you. And so this is a life and death issue that we think that we should talk about. And so we've set the agenda on social media, and a lot of people are commenting about it. The idea is that a lot of us, or most of us, may have experienced something, so we should share it. And we don't even know the seal of the Food and Drugs Board and what they do. Once they finish regulating a drug or they have been through the process, what is the mark to even show that this drug has been approved?
How do I know?
How do I know?
My illiterate grandmother in the village gets to know that this drug is not registered.
So today we are not trending as much. We're setting the agenda.
I'm sure we'll get a lot of viewers commenting on this particular.
Yes.
Welcome.
They've started commenting already. Thank you so much, and I'm right. Welcome to JN Interactive. My name is Marianne Toure. So if you're just joining us, welcome to JN Interactive. Within today's big story, I'd like to announce the social media tools that you need to get in touch with the show and then share your views. If you are on Facebook, it's facebook.com/joynnewsontv. If you're on Twitter, we tweet at joynnewsontv. And please remember to use the hashtag JNInteractiveGH so that we'll be able to sort all your comments and then read them all at once. I am on Twitter too, and I tweet at MN2Ray. If you're sending us an email, please send it to joynews@multitvworld.com, and the WhatsApp number to send all your pictures to will be 0260-518-801. And as we say here on JN Interactive, this is where tech meets news to set the agenda. So we are indeed setting the agenda today. And the Food and Drugs Board is the national regulatory body under the Ministry of Health with the responsibility of implementing food and drugs, the Food and Drugs Law, which was set in law in 1992. And they regulate the manufacture, the importation, exportation, distribution, use and advertisement of food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices and household chemicals with respect to ensuring their safety and quality and then also efficacy. In exercising this mandate, the Food and Drugs Board ensures the safety and wholesomeness of foods we eat. And then, they also ensure that human and veterinary drugs, household chemicals, substances, cosmetics and medical devices are also very, very safe and effective for use. So today we've been asking, and I think I should probably go to Facebook first and see the comments that you have been sending into us before I take our video blog. So the question we were asking on JN Interactive was that, we set the precedent that the FDA is mandated to regulate the safety of the foods we eat and the drugs we take. And we are asking whether you had any first-hand experience about expiration of foods or drugs to share with us. And so many have been coming in. At least I can share a few with you now before we go to our video blog. Any chance says yes, but they are all useless anyways. I don't know. It would have been great to share it with us. Frimpong, Holy John, Ifijuase says, do the FDA have branches in Ifijuase in the Shinto region? I went to a provision store and they still have milk and other items which will expire in 2 months on sale. Well, on that particular note, I think that, of course, I can say for them that it hasn't expired, and apparently once it hasn't reached its expiration date yet, you can still leave it on the shelf. So, the responsibility then falls on you, the person who purchases the item, to consume it within that period before it expires. And so if you buy it now, try as much as possible to consume it within the 2 months that is left. But if you're going to keep it for longer, then you might as well not go for anything on the shelf which would expire very soon. You should go for something which has a longer shelf life. That's the only thing I can say in their defense on this particular one. Baba Musa Tamale says, indeed, the FDA is doing very well, but they can always do more. And of course, they can always do more. But as Ghanaians, we must also help them with the necessary information about the product we suspect to be expired products or goods to enable them effectively discharge their duties. And Baba Musa Tamale, I couldn't agree with you more on that. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are employed at the FDA, but they cannot be everywhere at every time. And so the responsibility also falls on us as citizens of this country to also help them to do their job. And so if you have any tip-off, then please get in touch with them. I'll pause with the comments now and then take them later. But we'll go and take our first video blog, and we are asking if you actually even check the expiry and manufacturing dates on the products that you buy.
We don't look out for them because it's your health that you want. Okay. And so when we buy the medicine, we don't do that. We just take it, and then if it works for us, fine. It doesn't work, we go back to our doctor. And so
I sometimes check, but it depends. In Ghana, most people don't read white, understand? And when people are in a situation where you want to get medicine, if someone will be prescribe something for you, you wouldn't know whether it's from a drugstore or from a good source. You just go in for it. And thinking you on the cheap side to be healed, you don't normally check those things.
That is maybe those coming from the huge companies. Listen, I don't usually check. Well, fine, I don't usually check. But when it comes to those from the herbal things, I normally check. I mean, to be on the safer side, I check. To be honest, I check on those.
Not all the time, because I've been getting my drugs from the various hospitals. Sometimes, when you buy it in the pack, they show some what they call there's a sheet. But I normally read those sheets, but I don't check the date on it. Yeah.
So welcome back. You have been sharing those views with us. I'll try and then get some more of your comments that have been coming up on Facebook. And Bismarck says, listen, Puni should be sacked. I don't know why you're saying he should be sacked. If he hasn't done anything wrong, then why should he be sacked? Or at least for now, nothing has been proven that he's done anything wrong for now. So I don't agree with you then. But if he has done something wrong, then why not? Rahman says, yeah, just today, and it was Don Simon. Okay, so did you take it back? Because if you bought it from a store and it's expired and it's just today, you have every right to take it back to the store and say, I can't pay for this, please take it back. The drink has expired. So go back if you haven't, and they could take it back to their supplier and get their money. Frimpong says, yes, I also saw a Don Simon which has a December as an expiry date, just 2 months left, and I don't think it should be on sale at the market at this time. In defense of that also, well, apparently, and I read this somewhere, that once food has been preserved, and of course they put preservatives in there to actually preserve the food and everything before they can them. And so they have a life, a shelf life. So the 2 months plus perhaps 2 weeks or something, but I wouldn't advise you to go for that. But as long as it is still wholesome on the shelf, you can still purchase it and use it. Okay, so at this moment, I'll take some more of your comments whilst I reach a gentleman on the line and then we can speak to him. Samson Opele says, so are we safe in Ghana? A group of people circulated some drugs to school children at Nkoranza in the Brongahafo region. And unfortunately, a student took the drug and collapsed on the spot and was rushed to the hospital, but she couldn't hold it. Oh, what a nation. I wonder what you guys did about that. Did you report it to police? Because they would be your first port of call, so you should report it to the police. Gurangu says, yes, fake drugs are all over the country due to corruption of some members of the FDA board. Christian Salvo says, these things are very serious. We must check every drug and food that enters our body seriously before we take and eat it. That is very, very important. And at this particular moment, we have James Ohimingche, President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, on the line. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you doing too?
Fine, thank you.
I am wondering, what should the public look out for when purchasing drugs?
My sister, people usually talk about packaging, batch number, expiry date, and so on and so forth. For me, let's take a farmer at Sefi and Miefutu, Western region. If you ask him to look for batch number or expiry date, let's give to such a person. You know, a peasant farmer at Sefi and Miefutu in Western region. I think that the most important thing is the source. Now, if our regulators are working effectively, fake medicines should not be able to cross the port of entry. And again, if the various pharmacists go to the appropriate sources, all fake medicine should enter in the community pharmacy or a chemical seller shop. So for me, it is the regulators, the FDA officials who are key. And if they do their work very well, I don't think there should be any challenge with fake medicines.
So, please go ahead, or you're through. I can ask my next question. But I wanted to ask you, what has been your role in particular in helping educate the public?
It is our responsibility as a Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana to ensure that the good people of Ghana have access to safe, efficacious, and quality medicines, which are also affordable. And that is why we are saying that the government should find out why so-called fake medicines cross our entry points, the ports of entry, and then get to the various pharmacies and hospitals before the FDA issues alert. In the first place, why don't you stop the medicines from crossing? There are FDA officials at the various ports of entry. So why do they allow the medicines to cross? There should be up and doing. I think that the officials of the FDA are not transparent, and we must demand from them the core values of transparency, probity, and accountability. It is very important.
But you see, we're always demanding something from government. But we, as members of society, have also got a responsibility to each other. So as an organization, what are you doing? What steps are you taking to educate us? Pragmatic, not just talking.
We are educating the public. You know, our public has unit. You know, it's always educating the public. But I'm saying that the most important thing, you see, it is always better to prevent. You know, prevention is better than cure. Why don't you prevent it? You let it leave the ports of entry, enter the various community pharmacies, the various hospitals, before you go around collecting them, seizing them, and then destroying them. Why don't you stop it? Why don't you stop the cartons of medicines, the container fulls of fake medicines? Why don't you stop them at the ports of entry? People say that some come by road. If they come by road, it will just be a few. Majority, I'm telling you, majority come through the various ports of entry. So what we are saying, and it's why we have called on the government to institute an investigation to find out how the so-called fake medicines cross the country's ports of entry and then get to the various hospitals, regional medical stores, community pharmacies, and licensed chemical shops.
Sure. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. James Ohimingche.
You are welcome.
And we were talking to James Ohimingche, who is the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, who was talking about what steps he thought should be taken, especially by government, to end all of these. I'll take some more of your comments before Nana Bright joins me so that we can wrap up together. Roland Yabo of Fineboy says, you see what the Food and Drugs Board are doing. They're joking with human lives. The earlier they stop this, the better. I can't afford to die now because of someone's stupidity. Benson Dominic says, I don't check dates, I check taste. If it tastes good, then it's good for consumption. Benson, please do your best to start checking for dates, because if you don't, one of these days your taste might end up ending it all for you. Issa says, some supposed malaria drugs they claim are now causing abortion. If you have proof of that, please take it to the police and report it immediately, because we can't wait for someone who has actually intended to keep a pregnancy to miscarry because of this. Prosper says, we need more education from the FDA. We're unaware of MOs, drugs sold on the market, whether they are safe or not. Michael Bobby, printed expiration dates should be beholden and educate the public about them. Thank you so much for all your comments that have been coming in so far. The show indeed thrives on you. And Nana Bright joins me now so that we can wrap up together.
I'm sure a lot more people are coming in with this. It was quite a serious issue that needed more attention, or needs more attention.
It does.
Especially from us.
And to think that someone says, malaria drugs causing abortion. I don't know about that, but it needs to be checked.
We'll get the police to check on that. Yeah. Right. So thanks so much for your time. Israel is coming your way at 8 o'clock, and he'll give you updates on all these issues that we have raised here. But don't forget that GN Exclusive comes up right after this. My name is Bright Nanamfo.
And I am Marian Toure. Have a very good evening.